What is up there, guys? This is Corbin with patch 7.1 fast approaching. A lot of Destruction Warlock changes coming in that are really going to shift up the playstyle, at least in PvP. It's got me thinking about talents. It's got some people asking me about talents and my opinions on the new PvP talents, which one I think is going to be the most played, what kind of talent spec we're going to be looking at, things like Demonic Circle or Mortal Coil, those kinds of questions. And 7.1 above everything is going to be a time for... Honestly, I can see a lot of people just spending a few days just fucking experimenting. And that's awesome, you know, we're going to see so much variation in the way people are playing Destro in 7.1, at least for the first for the first week or so, I'd imagine. But right now I'm going to give my 2 cents, in case you're new to the spec, and just want to know at least what I think is going to be a decent Destro spec to play in PvP. Things like Battlegrounds, probably work in Arena as well. Give some pointers, explain my decisions. First of all, I think that the Shadowburn spec, alongside Cremation, I don't know whether to call it the Shadowburn or the Cremation spec now, I guess we'll go with Shadowburn spec. I think the Shadowburn spec is going to be the way to go. Let's just start with that, and then we're going to go on to the Case Ball one, alright? Shadowburn on the level 15 tier. Mana Tap, it's an abominable talent, alright? It's a maintenance buff. I fucking don't like it at all. It's another button to press before you can start, like, getting to the fun bit and start doing damage, you know? But having said that, Reverse Entropy is just not good enough for a Shadowburn spec. You just never ever cast Case Ball by going this. It's just fucking useless. Cataclysm, same token in PvP. Just kinda useless. Cast time is way too fucking long. You're kinda just forced into going Mana Tap. Level 45 tier. Demonic Circle or Mortal Coil. This one's a little bit tougher, alright? Shadow Fury, Slazer cast time. There, alright? Demonic Circle or Mortal Coil. It's kind of interesting to me. Hopefully you guys can see the mouse right now. Demonic Circle and Demon Skin switch positions, right? Demon Skin used to be where Demonic Circle is. Demonic Circle used to be on the level 75 tier with Dark Pact. Now, you always will be picking Dark Pact on the 75 tier, okay? Even in 7.1, the only time I can really see you going Demon Skin, which is nerfed by 50% in PvP, it's a key thing to remember as well. The only time you'll ever be going Demon Skin is against dot cleaves in Arena, right? And we're talking about, like, hardcore dot cleaves. Affliction Warlock Boomkin, and even then, I just think Dark Pact is so good to counter the Moonkin burst. I mean, Dark Pact is just so good, I think that you'd basically be going it every single time in the 75 tier. Going back to the level 45 tier, though, it's kind of strange to me that Demonic Circle was unplayable on the level 75 tier, because you had to go for Dark Pact, and you still have to. And now they've moved it to a weaker tier, so now Demonic Circle is competing with Mortal Coil and Shadow Fury. As we know, Shadow Fury is just unplayable. And now Demonic Circle is really competing with Mortal Coil. And I think that we're going to be playing Mortal Coil a lot more than Demonic Circle. Right? Which is kind of sad, because we're all looking forward to, yeah, we get Demonic Circle back in patch 7.1. I don't really think that we do. I mean, feel free to experiment with this when it goes live, but I just feel like being able to double coil as Destro is not quite as good as Demon Skin. So, we never picked Mortal Coil over Demon Skin. It's not quite as good as Demon Skin. But it's still a little bit better than Demonic Circle in most situations. Now, you might be playing in Arena with a lot of Fear DRs. Is it Incapacitate DR? Or is it Disorient? The fucking DR categories are so just like blobbed together now, it's really hard to keep track. But if Mortal Coil is DRing with a lot of things in Arena, or you're facing, you know, a melee comp where the Mortal Coil really might not help you out so much, I guess you could go Demonic Circle. And you know what, if you enjoy playing Demonic Circle more, then I fucking encourage it. Go for it, alright? Do what makes you happy, alright? It's my life advice. But I think Mortal Coil is just an overall better talent. And I think I'm going to be playing Mortal Coil myself a hell of a lot more. And I'd be surprised if more people were picking Demonic Circle in things like rated PvP over Mortal Coil. Level 60 tier, there's no real choice here again for the Shadowburn spec. You sort of have to go Soul Harvest. Fire and Brimstone is just a PvE talent. Eradication, you just never cast Chaos Bolt, so Soul Harvest it is. Dark Pact in the 75, Grimoire Sacrifice. Feel free to swap into Grimoire Service if you want the spell lock in arenas, that kind of stuff. Grimoire Sacrifice just has such great synergy though with Dark Pact that you're probably going to be sticking with Grimoire Sac. Wreak Havoc, really good with Shadowburn spec, unless you just cleave out a ton of damage. And is even more relevant, now that, looking at honor talents, Conflagrate can now root targets for 4 seconds. And also Cremation causes Conflagrate to deal 5% of the target's total health and fire damage. Both of these effects actually do get duplicated by the Havoc as well, so if you Havoc a guy and then Conflagrate him with Entrenched in Flame, it is going to root both your main target and the Havoc target as well. Same thing with Cremation as well, you know, it's going to do that bonus damage to both targets. Extremely, extremely good. Okay, but just working our way down here a little bit. Gladiator's Medallion, sort of just a go-to. Mind Quickness, increasing haste by 6%, relevant for Destro, reduces the conflagrate cooldown, and it also increases the tick rate of Immolate, so still really going to be useful. Curse of Fragility and Netherward, still really, really good. Some people have pointed out that Curse of Fragility and Cremation actually have anti-synergy, which is true to an extent, right? If you're reducing the target's maximum health before you burst by 20% for 10 seconds, then the 5% bonus damage from Cremation that is equal to the target's total health being dealt in fire damage is actually just worth a little bit less, right? The number is a little bit smaller. However, even though the overall number of the bonus fire damage being dealt by Cremation will be a little bit lower on targets afflicted with Curse of Fragility, it won't matter as long as they die within those 10 seconds, right? I mean, it only really matters if you don't kill them in the Curse of Frag, and then, you know, the Curse of Frag gets dispelled or it expires or something, and their health goes back up to the maximum. Then I guess you could say, oh, well, if you just save your conflagrates a little bit, they do overall more net damage. But at the end of the day, 5% of a target's health is still 5% of a target's health. So I don't think it's too much anti-synergy. It's definitely not any reason not to pick Curse of Fragility, which is honestly just the fucking best curse out of a lot of them, right? It's just the best curse out of a lot of them, especially for Destruction Warlocks. So just pick it up all the same, alright? Next tier up, Netherward. I had feelings that this spell would be fucking awesome. Not only fun, but really, really useful as well. And I don't think I've been proven wrong. I think the spell is fucking legit, alright? Surrounds the caster rather with a shield that lasts 5 seconds, reflecting all harmful spells cast on you. Can be spell stolen, can be paged, all the rest of it. It does have its counters, but a well-timed Netherward can just fucking turn the tide of an arena, of a duel. It's just so fucking good, alright? Got so many clips out already, just putting the spell to amazing use. And just for the sake of it being awesome fun, I'd recommend you pick it up. You can try out Essence Drain as well. Maybe you can play Casting Circle with the Case Bolt spec, but meh, that's so boring, alright? Alright, so I'm thinking that is the Shadowbend spec that I'm going to be playing in 7.1. Feel free to copy a little bit, feel free to try and improve on it a little bit as well. Now for a Case Bolt spec. Backdraft is a must pick. Reverse Entropy, a must pick. Mortal Coil. This way it gets a bit more debatable, actually. Demonic Circle, I feel, is just a smidgen stronger with the Case Bolt spec, where you really need that room to breathe a little bit more. I'd still be trying out Mortal Coil myself, because even though you don't benefit from Wreak Havoc with this, you'll probably be going Soul Conduit. Still just getting off like a 5-second or is it a 6-second duration Havoc, and just getting off a double Mortal Coil before you start landing your Case Bolts. I just think that's still so fucking good, alright? Demonic Circle, though, like I say, a smidgen bit better, I think, with the Case Bolt spec. Soul Harvest or Eradication. Gonna leave this one down to you guys. What do you guys think about this one? Eradication. Case Bolt increases the damage you deal to the target by 12% for 6 seconds. It's more effective over longer games, where you might only get off one Soul Harvest. You might actually get more benefit from Eradication over a longer game, you know. If it's like a 3 or 4 minute long arena game, you might only get off one Soul Harvest. Not quite as effective as this might be. My main gripe with Eradication is that to really benefit from this shit, you kind of want to get off a Case Bolt followed by another Case Bolt, right? You want to Case Bolt them one time to get the damage buff, and then another Case Bolt to land straight after that. To really benefit from the 12% damage bonus in the most impactful way possible. Because landing one Case Bolt and then getting kicked on your other Case Bolt and just kind of incinerating and conflagrating, you're not really going to feel that bonus 12% damage, so leave it up to you guys. This is one that I'm going to be experimenting with on live for sure, but Fire and Brimstone's still just dead talent here. Soul Harvest I'm probably going to be playing with. Eradication's cool though. Next year up, you basically still have to go Dark Pact. Grimoire Sacrifice, same deal really. It just has so much synergy with Dark Pact that you really only want to be going Grimoire Service against, you know, a comp where you feel like your healer is going to be so locked down by spam polymorphs or spam fears, you know. If you can get away with going Sacrifice, just do it, okay? Such good synergy. Soul Conduit on the last tier. So, Wreak Havoc. Havoc now lasts 20 seconds and has no cooldown. Havoc doesn't actually affect Case Bolt when you're spec'd into Focus Chaos, right? Chaos Bolt damage is increased by a bunch, but no longer strikes additional targets afflicted by Havoc. It just takes a lot of the sting out of your Havoc spell. There's no point really buffing it up at that point. You still want to be using your Havoc to get off, double Mortal Coils, but Wreak Havoc is just not really necessary if you're going to go Focus Chaos, right? Soul Conduit is actually pretty damn good. Every Soul Shard you spend has a 20% chance to be refunded. Chaos Bolt spends 2 Soul Shards. I'm not a fucking mathematician, I don't know how this shit works, but I'm just going to go ahead and say that this gives you like a 40% chance to regenerate a Soul Shard every time you use a Chaos Bolt. That's probably incorrect, right? Because I've just doubled the percentage, because there's double the amount of Soul Shards getting... Shh. Okay, it basically has decent synergy with a more Chaos Bolt spammy spec. It's pretty good. Gladiator's Medallion, so pretty good. Mind Quickness increases haste by 6%. Pretty nice. We actually tested Initiation. Critical chance of your damaging abilities and attacks is increased by 30% on targets above 80% health. We went ahead and for science tested Chaos Bolt with Initiation when I was trying out Focus Chaos. Because it does actually say, Chaos Bolt always critically strikes and your critical strike chance increases its damage right there at the end of the tooltip. Initiation doesn't scale Chaos Bolt's damage. It doesn't scale up the damage, Apparently critical chance and critical strike chance are just 2 different things, okay? Critical chance doesn't actually scale up Chaos Bolt's damage, so you don't have to waste your time experimenting with that shit. We've already went ahead and did that. The haste is still very, very nice for Chaos Bolt spec. Curse of Agility, equally still awesome for Chaos Bolt. Honestly, I don't know why you'd ever run either of the other 2 curses, really. Like, Curse of Weakness is just passive. Like, you want to be making proactive plays whenever you can, right? Curse of Tongues, I think, is actually a little bit better than Curse of Weakness, even. Because Curse of Tongues can be used in a proactive way. You can pop it up on a healer before you start to do burst damage, so just in case he trinkets the CC, he's still not going to be able to effectively get out as many heals. But 30% increased cast time just really isn't enough, so... Curse of Agility is just fucking awesome. Next up with the Chaos Bolt spec, we've got Nether Ward, Casting Circle, some people have experimented with. I'm not a fucking believer in Casting Circle, especially when you've actually spec'd into this right here. Let me just have a check. Where the shit is this again? Oh, that's the one, of course. Reduces the cooldown of Unending Resolve by 30 seconds. You can get this with the Destra artifact. Gives you a 1-minute cooldown Unending Resolve. 1 minute cooldown, shield wall, and immunity to interrupts and silence effects. It's extremely good. I just don't know that Casting Circle is that worth it, especially if we're playing with Mortal Coil or Demonic Circle. We can kind of give ourselves some breathing room. I'm not sure how worthwhile it is. Again, experiment. Prove me wrong. Being proven wrong is a chance to learn, damn it. Essence Drain, good, boring, Nether Ward. That's that tier summarized. Alright, Cremation, you obviously have to go Focus Chaos. Some people are actually making the point of, quite interestingly, well, you could still go Firestone, right? People went... I mean, Firestone on its own didn't make a Chaos Bolt spec viable before patch 7.1. I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference now. Again, experiment. Conflagrate does have a root now with Entrenched in Flame, which is just a mandatory talent on the last tier, but we'll get to that in a bit. We do have a root on Conflagrate now. We do get to play with Mortal Coil now. Who knows? Maybe Firestone will actually be okay with a Chaos Bolt spec. I still don't really see it. Because the problem with Firestone is that while Firestone isn't active, while it's on cooldown for 45 seconds, you do nothing. And that's the biggest problem with any kind of Firestone-oriented spec. At least Cremation gives you like 6 sustained damage. Focus Chaos gives you that, cooldownless awesome damage, at any time. You don't even need to have Dark Soul popped, or any kind of cooldowns popped, for Focus Chaos to just be giving you this constant threat of stupendously powerful Chaos Bolts, That's why Focus Chaos appeals to so many people, I think. It makes Destro scary again, you know what I mean? Final tier, Bane of Havoc. Alright. Could it be good for Rated Battlegrounds, do you think? I actually don't know if Bane of Havoc allows your Chaos Bolts to be duplicated. Because it does replace Havoc. And Focus Chaos says, but no longer strikes additional targets afflicted by Havoc. What if they're afflicted by Bane of Havoc? You know what I mean? Would you be able to go Bane of Havoc and Chaos Bolt with Focus Chaos? I've got a sneaking suspicion that it won't work. But hell, it's something to try out, isn't it? Something I've not got around to trying out yet anyway. Now, Fell Fissure is the thing that it seems really, really good on the surface. Chaos Bolt creates an eruption of Fellfire under the target, dealing shadow damage every second. Not much shadow damage, let me tell you. And reducing all healing received by 50% for 10 seconds to all enemies within 5 yards of the initial target. Now, the space beneath the target, that's the space right there, it's that fucking small, right? The space beneath the target that is hit by a Chaos Bolt while you're spec'ing into Fell Fissure is fucking tiny. They could move 1 yard in any direction, pretty much, and disable the Fell Fissure effect. And that's the main problem with this talent, is you really have to have the target just completely locked down for the 50% reduced healing to matter for longer than, you know, a second or two. So I really don't like this talent. And even if it was much stronger than it was, and it was just like if it was just like a permanent debuff that reduced the target's healing received by 50% for 10 seconds, and they couldn't just move off the spot, it was just like a debuff that was applied, then okay, then we talking for Arena, you know. But for the time being, a Trenched in Flame, you can flag out routing the targets, just so good for both the Shadowburn spec and the Chaos Bolt spec. And those are the specs that I think are going to be fairly commonly played in 7.1. Give or take a couple of talent choices, right? But again, I encourage you guys to fucking experiment with this stuff, right? It's interesting as well to point out that Channel Demon Fire is actually affected by Backdraft. It doesn't say it on the tooltip, but for some reason, for some mysterious reason, Channel Demon Fire is actually affected by Backdraft. So you could actually go Channel Demon Fire at the end here, and then go something like, would you actually go Casting Circle then? See, there are things that you can experiment with. That's what I'm saying, alright? Get out there, try some stuff yourselves. I think that this is the spec that I play if I was going to go Chaos Bolt spec. Let me just go straight back to the Shadowburn one real quick. Lots of cool things to try out in 7.1. This is just my 2 cents. What do you guys think? But for now, I am going to leave the video here. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed it. Maybe you all enjoyed the insights. I'm going to catch you guys a tad bit later. Remember, you can support the channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing, and checking out our Patreon page, which is always linked below in the description. So cheers again, everyone, and I will see you all tomorrow. No. Are you actually having the biggest giraffe of your life at this point?